ever came up with. The invention of money.
It's a commonly accepted medium of exchange that many people are willing to accept it. In early societies, one of the most common things was cattle.
Yep, we're talking about cows. We'll get back to gold in just a sec. Let's go inside the human brain to see how money evolves. So yeah, instead of just trading something I want for something you want, humans started settling on commonly useful things that they could carry around and that would be valuable to most people.
Historically, lots of objects have served as money. You got barley, salt, cows are something that many people needed for food. They were transportable because they walked, they were pretty easy to maintain, they ate grass.
This is the most obvious version of money, something that is practical and useful. It'll help you survive, but they also have
Yeah, they
drawbacks.
played well in the last
Cows
game, but
don't
they need to
make
match
good
that
money.
performance
That's a weird
today.
sentence I never
It should
thought
be a
I'd
good
say.
game, this
But
one.
yeah, they spoil, they're hard to divide, you can't easily bring them to faraway places to do trading, so eventually humans found something better. That shiny, soft metal pulled from the riverbed. It was easy to shape, split up, so it's easy to carry around, easily divisible, and it just looks cool. And humans love shiny things. So that was like a nice added bonus. It was rare, but not too rare. Like there was enough of it, but it wasn't like everywhere, which like that's an important part of this. But gold doesn't feed you. It doesn't keep you warm. It doesn't shelter you. Yes, you can make jewelry and like a dagger out of it or something, but like it's not that intrinsically useful unless we introduce a very powerful ingredient, a very human ingredient called belief. This guy believes gold is valuable, and so does this guy. If someone believes that gold is valuable, and so does another person, that belief turns metal into a system. He trades it for wheat. I'll give you gold, you give me wheat. You then take that gold and go trade it for salt or fabric. Gold becomes valuable not because of what it does, but because what we believe it means. So this is a big psychological step for us. From cattle, which has utility, to gold, which has no utility, but is scarce, durable, divisible, universal, and don't forget, essence shiny. And all this is made possible because of collective belief. Belief that if I have this metal, I'll be able to go use it to buy things that help me survive. And if everyone believes it,
still hits the
it works.
target. What a
Gold
good
and
goal that
silver
is.
became the dominant money throughout the world.
Steven Gerrard.
So the belief in gold spreads throughout the world 2,000 years ago, not just as a thing that we need to worship the gods, but as a means of trade, a currency of money. This also happened with gold's forgotten cousin, silver, or silver. It just didn't get those fast-moving electrons to make it shiny. And there's like too much of it too. Anyway, soon gold was being stamped into standardized coins, being used as a near universal form of money all around the world. It was magic, but it was also mania.
And the ball is moving again. Will there be a quick reply from the Raptors? There certainly needs to be.
They met the Aztec civilization, and one thing caught their eye: gold.
And the ball with Gerrard.
Lots of gold, including these gifts that the Aztec king was presenting to these Spaniards, giving it to them for free. The Aztecs were using lots of gold, but not as a currency, but as decoration, for worship, for armor, for blades. It wasn't economic, but to the Spanish, gold had become economic, a means of trade. It was wealth, and here it was in extreme abundance, and they wanted it. Or in the words of one Spanish conqueror, we suffer from a disease of the heart that can only be cured by gold.
The NFL preseason is finally here, and I think I found the best way to watch games. This is Fubo, and it's how I'm catching preseason games this year, starting with the Hall of Fame game.
You can almost see their opponents racking their brains. How do we stop this?
All leading right up to the regular season. And I'm using Fubo because you can watch from literally any device. It can be your phone, your TV, on the go, whatever. Plus, it's not just sports. I've got news, movies, reality TV, really anything I want to watch. If you've been trying to figure out how to watch NFL preseason games without cable, this is literally it. All you have to do is go to fubo.tv/welcome or grab the app and get set up before kickoff.
Look at this! And a goal! Calls for celebrations again. 2 in front. So the current scoreline 4-2. Moving the ball nicely. Oh, an incredible block. Now, will they
Spanish ended these statues and masks and
back
jewelry
underway here.
and blades,
The Raptors might
melted
still
them
be
down,
trailing, but
shaped
this
them
game is
into
very much a
uniform
contest
units
again.
of value, and stamped them with a seal of authority. They spent the next century ripping through the Americas, chasing every rumor of golden cities and sacred wealth. Places like El Dorado, Cibola. Men fevered by greed for this shiny metal stuff, fueled by conquest,
and smuggled behind for the
that
corner.
built their cathedrals, and ended up kicking off a race among the European empires.
Let's see about the
race
delivery.
for more and more gold.
Let's not forget what the Spanish found when they came to the New World. Gold.
Wilson.
And then, of course, this leads to a cottage industry of renegade sailors, sometimes hired by other empires, trying to intercept these ships going to and from the New World with hopes of finding one of these chests full of gold. Now, I was disappointed in my reporting when I discovered that most pirates weren't actually after gold and didn't find a lot of gold. They were after more boring stuff like lumber, and they didn't really have these X marks the spot type maps where they buried their chests of gold.
Well, the attack petered out.
That's mostly a myth, but it's also kind of a useful example of how gold inspired these big, grand stories of adventure, of jackpots,
and
how it
for the
enlivened
Raptors
the imagination and inflamed this greed in people's minds. I mean, I get it. How sick is the idea of a bunch of gold that never rusts, buried somewhere in the Caribbean, ready to turn a peasant into a count? Greetings. God, I love the Count of Monte Cristo from the early 2000s. So by the 1800s, this psychological leap is complete. There is a near universal belief in gold as a currency, a means for exchange, the universal money. The European empires had already torn across continents in search for it, and now it was the turn of regular people, the dreamers, the risk takers, the desperate men who joined the hunt for gold. Men with nothing to lose, chasing rumors of riches, and doing pretty reckless and extraordinary things, all for a shot at striking
considerable progress with
the ball. A big group of them in 1849 fled into the western United States, helping build California, becoming the 49ers, all in search for gold. These guys are in Canada's Yukon, where it is very cold, and they're looking for gold. I mean, this happened everywhere. South Africa, Australia, the Amazon. Each place the same story. Men intoxicated by the idea of getting rich off of gold, doing whatever it takes to get their hands on the stuff, even forcing others to mine it for them. This frenzy of hope, chaos, migration. It was gold fever, and it didn't just move markets, it moved human beings, entire populations. It was, as the writer of this excellent book puts it, a murderous, cruel, intoxicating, brutal adventure that swallowed an entire civilization and spat it out as coins. Man, I love when rigorous historians write beautiful language. Okay, let's dive back into the brain really quick and see what's going on next. We're about to take another big psychological leap here. The leap from a belief in this soft, shiny metal to a belief in paper.
One of the problems with physical gold is that if you want to trade it in large quantities, it's pretty heavy to carry around a lot of gold, and what people decided was if they could deposit their gold into a bank, it would give them a banknote, which was essentially an IOU. 1 ounce of gold was worth approximately $20. So basically, if you had a $20 bill, you could go into a bank and redeem it for 1 ounce of gold.
Most individuals, when they got paid, they got to pay envelopes stuffed with banknotes. So that was the everyday medium of exchange. As long as you trusted that the banknotes were good, you really didn't think about much which bank had issued the notes. They all exchanged 1-to-1 against each other and against gold and silver dollars.
So the referee's whistle as the action is restarted.
The banknote, and they would give you gold.
So now instead of believing in gold, we are believing in
Williams,
trusting them that if they give us this piece of paper, it actually represents the gold that they are holding safe in their vault, and that at any moment, if I needed the gold, I could go to the bank, get the gold. That is now a pretty far abstraction from cows, something that feeds us. We're now carrying around paper. But, once again, it follows the same rule that if everyone believes it, and if the banks don't give us any reason not to believe it, then this worthless piece of paper turns into economic power, a currency. And in fact, if we can do that, it's really convenient. It makes trade way easier. Theoretically, everyone thrives here. So, Silver. Okay, yeah. Instead of gold in the vault, a lot of economies had silver in the vault. And a lot of economies were trying to have both metals, giving them each a specific value and taking that value so that it wouldn't change too much. But this becomes a problem. It's really hard to have two metals as the foundation of your paper money. And then suddenly, if there's a big discovery of silver in Nevada or something, there's way more silver, so it throws off the value of silver, but it's tanked in value of gold, and so all this arbitrage happens. This was a huge, decades-long debate here in the United States. Got really political. You've got this guy running for office, mostly on a platform of silver, and some people think that The Wizard of Oz is an entire commentary on this debate between gold and silver.
Showing from Neymar in this game,
Stuart.
Well, it's been an incredible performance from him. Clearly the difference between the two sides. Obviously the goals, but he's moved them too. He's causing the back all sorts of headaches. He'll no doubt be desperate to grab the hat-trick now.
Gold, this shiny metal that humans have been using for thousands of years to do trade, endured as the one metal that we would base our entire economy off of, at least here in the United States. But a lot of countries do. We set a firm standard. $20 gets you 1 ounce of gold. There's a finite number of gold. It doesn't fluctuate too much. Anyway, this is called the gold standard. And the United States and a bunch of other big countries were on the gold standard in the early 1900s.
We're into the final half hour.
So it's pretty clear that the economy is like a big, confusing thing. And especially in the last couple of years, we have seen a pretty chaotic economy. Higher grocery bills, unaffordable housing, confusing insurance costs. But here's what's tricky. The way that we understand these changes, what's actually happening, differs dramatically depending on where we get our information. And honestly, that applies to this video. I've chosen some explanations of the economy that I think are a useful way to understand it, but I've chosen the narrative here, and those choices matter. That's why I keep coming back to Ground News, because it's the one place that helps me separate facts from framing. Ground News is an app and website that allows me to compare coverage from many different outlets, including outlets from different countries, so that I can make up my own mind instead of inheriting someone else's narrative. Take this example. Walmart recently announced it was lowering prices. One outlet framed it as the administration successfully pushing down prices. But another outlet, just in their framing, argued that the president took credit for routine discounts while prices remain historically high. This is the same fact, the same underlying announcement, but each version gives you a completely different narrative, a different impression of what actually happened. They try to tell you whether it matters and who should get the credit. We must remain vigilant. And this is why I'm such a big fan of Ground News, because it's exactly how I try to approach my own coverage, my own videos, ingesting a lot of different perspectives, and making sure that what I cover includes a lot of those perspectives. This is context that hopefully allows you to come to your own conclusions. But my videos still have a framing. I'm still a person with bias, and Ground News is a tool that I use to make sure I'm checking those biases, that I am aware of my framings. Ground News was built by a former NASA engineer who approached this as a problem to be solved, a problem with how we get our information. It's one of the few tools that I found that actually tries to give you more context instead of less of it, which I think is so important right now. So, you can get 40% off, big discount on Ground News. You can get in on their Advantage plan, which gets you in on all these features that you can check out. You just got to go to the link that's in my description. It's ground.news/Johnny Harris. You can also click this lovely QR code. I'm grateful to Ground News for existing, for what they do. I'm also grateful that they sponsored this competition. And with that, let's dive back into the wild world of our economy. Okay, let's get back to the human brain, because we're about to go through our third massive leap in the psychology of money. Let me warn you, this one's kind of weird, and I went to college for this one, monetary policy and economics, and I'm going to do my best to explain it, but it starts to get a little bit wacky. We're also entering some controversial territory. Economists are much smarter than I debate this stuff, what I'm about to say. They all have different takes, and they have strong feelings about it, so I'm going to do my best here, but like, in the comments you're going to see some strong opinions. I welcome them, just be nice.
This settlement check completely changed my life. And it came from a car accident I almost forgot about. I'm honestly shaking as I record this. I never imagined something this big could come from an accident that felt so small at the time. If you've been in any kind of vehicle accident in the past 2 years, even if you think it was minor, even if you were just a passenger, you might be entitled to far more than you realize. Here's my story. I was stopped at a red light when, I could not even see the distracted driver slammed into me from behind. My neck felt a little stiff, but the car seemed okay. We exchanged info and I drove home. Big mistake. Over the next few weeks, the pain got worse. I started missing work. My car developed issues I hadn't noticed right away.
To get himself
The insurance company tossed me a tiny offer and basically said, take it or leave it. I almost did. Then my sister's boyfriend Marcus told me about something called pre-case eval. He said, dude, just answer 4 questions. What's the worst that could happen? At first, I thought he was exaggerating. But he had used the exact same tool
And the
after
fourth
his own
official confirming that we'll have 1 additional minute.
So I clicked the link, answered 4 simple questions, and in less than 30 seconds, it told me I might actually qualify for a real settlement. I figured, yeah, right. But I had nothing to lose. A couple of months later, I was put in the settlement.
And there it is, the full-time whistle here, and it's a victory.
And here's where it gets crazy. I shared this tool with 5 people I know who've been in accidents. My coworker Diana, just a passenger in an Uber, thought she had no case. She ended up with a life-changing settlement. My neighbor Kevin thought his accident from over a year ago was something. My cousin Ashley, a bike accident with a car door. My buddy Ryan swore it was too minor to matter. He was wrong. Even my mom's friend Janet, she's in her late 60s, barely uses technology, but with some help she filed and was shocked at the result. 5 people, 5 different situations. And all of them discovered they were entitled to way more than they thought. Here's what nobody tells you. Insurance companies have one job, to pay you as little as possible. They count on you not knowing your rights. But this tool changes everything. You don't need to understand law. You don't need to hunt for some random attorney. You just click the link below this video, answer 4 basic questions, and it instantly checks if your case qualifies. If you do, they connect you with a specialist who handles everything. No upfront fees, no court dates, no fighting insurance companies yourself. A year ago, I would have accepted that tiny insurance payout and considered myself lucky. But knowledge is power. Diana was just a passenger. Kevin thought his case was expired. Ryan thought his was too minor. Even Janet, who can barely send a text, discovered what was possible.